Warning. There are many unexplained forces in the universe. Some can be dangerous and harmful to your health. To avoid any potential harm to you or your family, do not try this at home.
Tonight on Behind the Shadows, we travel to Newark, Ohio to investigate claims of paranormal activity that is believed to be related to some very gruesome and horrifying deaths that have occurred at the Licking County Jail. Okay, so we're back out here in Ohio. We've actually come to the Licking County Jail. Now, we've met back up with the United Paranormal Project, and we're actually happy to have you guys here to show us the prison itself. Now, Eric Glosser, you're the lead investigator with the United Paranormal Project?
Yes.
Okay, can you start us off and give us some of the history and give us a tour of this jail?
Well, the old jail opened in 1889. There's been 17 documented deaths here. And I know there's a lot more, we're just still digging, but we've only really opened this since last October.
Well, yeah, I mean, any prison that has a history that like about 100 years, there's a lot of things that can come up, and that's
right.
And that is the case here with the Licking County Jail. So, do you mind just taking us through the building with your team and show us what's been going on?
Yep.
Now, one of the more famous deaths that happened at the jail is Carl Ethington?
Correct.
Okay. Now, Carl was actually lynched here in the property, correct?
Well, he was actually, we believe that he was killed here, and then he was taken from the jail on up to the southeast corner of the square and hanged.
Now, the story with Carl basically is very tragic.
He was a 17-year-old kid. He ran away from home. He read detective magazines and wanted excitement. So he went to Cleveland. He was from Kentucky. He went to Cleveland and joined where he would be a dry agent, which today would be like a liquor control agent. And the Grahamville, the next town over's mayor, was upset because the county had voted to be dry, but Newark was not following, the guidelines.
Yeah.
So he personally hired 20 dry agents from Cleveland to come down here to put a hurting on the bars and the brothels.
And the 17-year-old Carl was one of them.
Yeah. He applied, lied about his age, said he was 23 years old, and had spent 4 years in the United States Marine Corps. So when he came to Newark, he got action. They swore him all in as like law enforcement officers where they could make arrests. One of the bars just not far from here, just across the road, they went into to serve a warrant. They were going to shut the bar down. An ex-policeman, a captain from the police department, happened to be there, and he owned another brothel at another location. He was making more money doing that than he was being a police officer. So Carl Ethington and a couple other guys go in, and there's a scuffle that occurs, and this ex-policeman and him get into a physical fight. And the policeman had him down to the ground, the ex-policeman, and was just beating him pretty good. Carl reaches in, pulls out his revolver, shoots him in the stomach, in the chest area, and he died. They brought him in, and right outside this door, there's a fence here, and on the other side of that fence was the actual canal. The canal was still there at that time. Over 1,000 people formed on that lawn, and they wanted him. They wanted to take action against him. They had a ladder, they had sledgehammers, and eventually they made their way in through this door. They broke in. When they came in, Sheriff Link, at that time he was on the take also. He was making 3 to 4 times the income that he was, being on the take that he was making as the sheriff. He comes in, they said, "Where's he at?" Second floor. He hands them the key. So they made their way, and we believe into his cell. And we believe that he probably actually was killed because he was hit with sledgehammers. And they drug him down, right back out the door, went east, and then turned onto 2nd Street, crossed the bridge up to the southeast corner of the square. The rope was thrown over the telegraph pole, and he was hung there. And they said probably there was over 5,000 spectators, women and children, that came to watch him. Some people were clapping and cheering, and some people were crying. And
that is, a brutal way to go. A 17-year-old kid getting beaten to death by a mob of 1,000 people by using sledgehammers and basically being bludgeoned to death in this very cell.
Yeah, and him knowing for a couple hours that what his fate was going to be, and they said that he attempted suicide in the cell a couple times but was unsuccessful.
Wow.
Just because I couldn't imagine him sitting in that cell knowing that he was going to die.
Could you imagine the fear?
Yeah, that's a lot of negative energy flowing in there.
Now we actually have some of these gentlemen from the town that were convicted of the lynching of Carl Ethington. Now this is obviously only a couple of these photos. There were something like 50-something arrests at the time.
Right here, this was the actual jail register of him, Carl Ethington, brought in on murder. And then you can see as we get down here after a couple lunacy charges, there's murder, 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 murder.
Okay, so are these murders the murders of Carl Ethington?
Yeah, they were the ones that murdered him, and then he was brought in and they had listed him down as murder of the other guy.
So we have all these names that are all the murders of Carl Ethington, who was murdered in his cell, right upstairs. Okay, let's go up there. Okay, so this is the actual jail cell where Carl Ethington was actually bludgeoned to death?
Yes, right here.
Is this a photo of Carl right here?
This is the photo the day after the actual morgue photo. And Carl Ethington was a skinny kid, and his face is swollen 2 to 3 times the size that he normally was, and his body is swollen. And one of the reasons that I believe that he actually was dead when they lynched him is there's really no discoloration, even on a good photo. This is a copy.
You'd have a strong bruising mark.
Yeah, you could see where the marks were on the neck, but I don't believe the blood was pumping at the time because it would have probably been all purple.
Yeah, you can see the rope strangulation marks.
But
he looks really young.
17-year-old boy. We've got EVPs of Help Me on Carl and some other weird things.
So you've actually recorded EVPs of Carl saying, "Help me."
Yes.
Because nobody did help him, did they?
No, no one helped.
This is the matron's quarters. It's the 3rd floor. There's only 3 floors of living, but 4 floors of cells. This is our top floor here.
Okay. Now, you yourself have had experience here, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Show me where that happened. Okay. So, this is the part of the matron's office where you had your experience, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
I was sitting right here, and I was on the floor. There wasn't a chair here or anything, and I felt myself getting touched. really, really light, and I decided to ignore it. And the next thing I know, we had the SB7 on, and my name was being called across it. It says, "Hey, Misty."
Do you have that recording?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
This picture that we caught in here was the best picture I've ever seen in my life. Our
Okay.
lead investigator was the one that was taking the picture, and there was 3 females in the room, and he was taking the picture, and he was here as well. And it is a male, I do believe.
In the photo?
In the photo, yes.
Okay.
And he's standing in the corner of the room. You can see a shadow on the window, and then you can see the actual body to the left of the shadow.
So this apparition actually was standing in this window right
Yes,
here.
right here in the corner. The apparition was in the corner where this pole goes through there, but there was also a shadow casted on the window where the light comes from the window. There's no possible way for that. It's
So there's
unexplainable.
this shadow, unexplained
Yes,
shadow of a man.
completely.
And there is no possible explanation for this shadow to be in this photo.
Absolutely not.
So who's this woman?
This is Laura Dulin, the handsaw slayer.
That just sounds creepy.
Oh, it's very
What's the story with Laura Dulin?
Well, apparently she just didn't like her husband all that well, to be honest.
Okay, all right.
And she pretty much tried to use a sickle to kill him with. The sickle broke, so she used a handsaw, started cutting pieces of his body up. And
This looks like an elderly woman. This isn't.
look at them eyes. Does that look like that?
Well, she doesn't look like she's incapable. I'll
That's
tell you that, right?
Yeah, you got that right.
Okay, so she used a sickle
Yeah.
on her husband.
And it broke.
It broke. She
She-
used a handsaw
Yes.
and she cut him to pieces?
Cut him to pieces. Cut his arms, his legs off, until he was just left the torso.
Okay. That's a pretty gruesome scene.
Yes, it is.
And this is a 72-year-old woman that did this to her husband?
Yes.
Okay, so now this in the basement, now this is the intake room.
This is.
So Laura Devlin, the handsaw slayer,
Mm-hmm.
who did time at the jail that we're in right now, was
Very
taken
little
in
time,
through
yes.
this door right here.
Mhm.
And this is the actual intake room?
Yes, it is. She was brought in, she was fingerprinted.
This woman was really off her rocker. She was completely cuckoo.
Yes.
Great. Great. It sounds like this is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, this is the holding junk tank, holding cells. You can see inside there, you got double beds actually, and right around the corner is a shower piece back here.
Okay.
And it was this one here that the person was in here shaving and had sliced his jugular.
Really? Okay. Now, as far as some of the paranormal happenings that have happened here, there's
Oh,
been quite a few, correct?
Yes, I was standing here at one point.
Okay, so this is an experience you've had
Oh,
in
it's
this
personal
area?
experience, absolutely.
Okay, so what happened?
I was standing right here, and myself, Marty, and Eric, Marty and Eric were sitting over here with cameras.
Okay.
And I was saying, I told Eric, I said, man, I don't feel right standing here. Something just doesn't feel right. I don't like my back being exposed like that. And I felt a very strong tap on the top of my head. I'm like, okay, there it is, you know. So I knew something was up. So later on that evening, we had stealth cameras set up at that time, and they had actually caught an apparition, an outline of an apparition up against this wall.
In this basement right here
In
was
this
an apparition of a man.
Mhm.
And this is the same time, almost right before you caught this apparition, you were physically touched.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so this is the actual 4th floor of the president's cell. Now this cell itself, were actually used for keeping the women that were here, right?
Yeah, strictly women.
Okay. With the same theme of strange deaths in the prison. There's kind of one that pretty much takes the cake, as say, right? And that happened right over here, right?
Right.
Okay, can you tell us the story?
Well, like we said, the 4th floor was primarily, it was all women. They had a jail matron, which took care of the female prisoners. Men were not allowed on this floor. A lady by the name of Varner had overdosed.
Okay.
So she took a bunch of pills. Somebody called the police were nearby. They rushed her to the hospital, pumped her stomach. She's gonna live. So, okay, next move, we take her to the sheriff's department for safekeeping. So they brought her here to the matron. The matron brought her in down to number 5, put her in, went back out to do paperwork. 45 minutes later, she walks back, looks in, and this lady is totally engulfed in flames. Skin's falling off. The lady's just screaming horror. She had a set of matches and set herself on fire.
So they didn't like check her for these matches?
No,
No.
no.
So she was pretty determined at that point to
Yeah, she
set
was-
herself on fire.
Right. And it wasn't uncommon back then to let them have matches or, you know, something because they were allowed to smoke in their cells way back in the day, which is kind of unheard of today, but yeah, she put her garment on
So
fire.
we got a man who was bludgeoned to death. We got a man who slit his own throat, and we have a woman that set herself on fire.
Yes.
I think it's gonna be a good night tonight, guys. Let's get going.
You guys got a walkie, right?
Yes.
All right, Eric, Jason, and I will be up here watching the DVR system, so if anything happens, make sure you get back to us, okay?
Okay.
I know that we've been seeing some shadows moving down in the basement, so be careful.
Yeah, this is the basement.
All right.
Back
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, please. We're coming down.
All right, so down here is the intake room. And we've been getting some stuff over here to the right of us. So what do you think? Do you want to do first? Oh, no, I think that room's calling our names.
Okay, let's
All right.
go in there.
All right, so we are recording right now, and we're getting
some spikes in the K2. It's up to the orange. Just kind of passed through, actually kind of followed camera feeling.
all right, we're gonna head in here.
Okay, this is where we were seeing the shadows. And I do not like the feelings from it at all.
Yeah, it's colder than normal, feeling pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Already it's starting, yeah. All right, I think we should probably maybe set up a ghost box and see who's down here. Unbelievably, that feeling that kind of goes right to the bones.
That does it over here. I'm sick. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this on. Is that okay?
Got the ghost box ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Turn it louder. That's good.
We're gonna go ahead and record it.
You know that guy that had a brain aneurysm? He actually died down there. His name was Kenny Malcolm.
Really? You died in this room or just down in this?
Down in the basement every day in the Ethington. Yeah. Is that you that we saw when we came down earlier and saw the shadows? Were you watching us?
Right, yes. Mom, we want to communicate. Why are you here?
Stephanie.
I don't know, almost. I don't know. Were you murdered? Wow.
Yeah.
And it's right behind you, like right here. This is where that apparition photo was right here. And just by the way it was angled, there was no explanation for the humanoid figure that was in this photo.
So we're looking to speak with what I believe to be a gentleman. Are you a man? If you are, can you please touch that K2 meter on the floor and make the lights go back up? So that's a no.
Furnace is kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stay over here with me, Lou. Stay with me, Lou. Alright, so I asked if you were a man and there was no response. So that only leaves one other explanation, that you are a woman. This woman that's here with us right now, and we got another bleed. Are you a prisoner? Bleed.
There it is.
Were you held? Did you die in your cell in this jail? Yes. Do you want us to go to your cell on the other side of that door? Yes, yes, yes. Lou, are you getting this right now?
This
It's
one's-
holding. It's holding right there. You see that?
He's
This thing
filming
wants
that.
us to go over to the cells.
I'm thinking about doing it right now.
Okay, so let's close this down. We are on your trail, ma'am. We are coming to speak with you in the cell.
Did you die here?
Did another prisoner murder you? Yeah. That was a threat. Yeah.
Who's in that other room?
Are you upset because we're down here with you? Something's breathing down your neck.
It just flashed. The spike.
I just said something's breathing on my neck and it just flashed. Yeah, there's something like right breathing, nasty, stinky breath right on my neck. Yeah.
Who was that breathing on her? Why are you still here?
Oh, I can't get through there.
I didn't hear you when you guys here.
Yeah.
It's completely, there's nothing.
What did he just say?
Did he just say something? Oh, that was coming through there?
Who's that? Oh. Was that you?
Right? Right?
I didn't see.
Did you just throw something? 'Cause that's what it sounded like.
Shot right through here. I don't know.
Right in this room, it's empty room.
Now he's fucking with us.
There we go. So right now we're going to walk inside the actual jail part of. This is the woman's quarters. We were literally just in the matron's quarters where there's a lot of paranormal activity happening. Through our communication, we understand that we're talking with a female, and it's the female had indicated that there is a prisoner here in this cell, and then it actually wants us to come over here and speak with her. So we're accepting this invitation.
Okay, we're recording in the women's cell area,
I wonder if it's
the Licking County Prison. Who we talking?
It could be May Varner.
All right, so we're in the women's cell, and since our K2 spikes in the matrons, again indicating us to come over here, I haven't seen any spikes. This has been at 0, and we're just walking in and out of the rooms trying to see if we can find what room we're supposed to be in.
45 minutes later, she walks back, looks in, and this lady is totally engulfed in flames. Skin's falling off. The lady's just screaming horror.
Alright, so again, we found ourselves in the actual cell where May Varner had burned herself alive.
Yep. Cut herself on fire. Set herself on fire.
You know, there's a lot of ways to kill yourself.
That's terrible.
Like, you really gotta hate yourself to do that.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Or be really sadistic. So, let's try it. Yeah, there's like a really creepy feeling in here. There's a really creepy feeling in here right now, for sure. Okay, so if there is a woman that was trying to communicate with us and wanted us to come in here, you now have our attention. We're not scared.
As you can tell, we wouldn't be here if we were. But we really want to talk to you. May, you got devices around here that you can use to communicate with us?
Putting down my EVP recorder.
If you'd like. I want to hear that.
Do you know that we're here? Can you see us?
What? Who's in here? Show yourself.
Let's go investigate. All right, let's go investigate.
It's going to tell what direction it's going to come.
Is there any ladies in here that would be good kind to come and hold my left hand? Shh. Is there any ladies in here that would be good kind to come and hold my left hand? Shh. And.
What the fuck was that?
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
What the fuck was that, dude?
That was like a growl.
I got that, dude. I'm recording right now. That was creepy as shit.
Like a yell or something?
Yeah, dude. In concluding our investigation of the Licking County Jail, we were able to confirm there is an unexplained presence that is willing to communicate with the living. Is this the ghost of Carl Ethington, the 17-year-old who was beaten to death by Newark townspeople right in his cell? Or perhaps the activity stems from one of the many suicides in the jail, like May Varner, who burned herself alive. Is there a place for us all when we die? Is there truly an afterlife? For the Licking County Prison, The stories of ghosts haunting the location seem to show us there is a place for everyone once we pass on.